Well, one of the biggest things we have to teach people, and it's a really hard one to grasp, is that you have to care about the people you work with. You don't have to like them. We all work with people that we don't like, right? But you have to care about them. And it's a really big deal when you're working in one department and you see somebody else in another department getting a hard time or something happened to them that's not fair. And a lot of people are like, hey, that's not my department, and they'll walk away. It's bridging that gap and being like, you know what, we work together. We don't work next to each other, but we work for the same company. We're working for the same thing. And then when that person can come out of their department and stand up for somebody in another department, that's really where you're starting to break down those barriers. The example a lot of us use these days are the grocery store, especially now that they're very boutique-ish. Even our local Harmon's is very boutique-ish. You go in and there's a bakery, there's a butcher, there's a produce person, there's a night crew, there's stockers, there's checkers, there's baggers. Well, in a trade union situation, the butchers would be in a union, the bakers would be in a union, the night stalkers would be in the union, the cashiers would be in a union. They could all be in a union, but they'd all be in a different union, all by their trade. But the way that we look at it is that everybody, from the janitor to the butcher to the person that stocks the shelves, they're all in the same union because they're all working in the same industry. They're all there to make that industry go forward. And that's kind of the big separation, is that we think that there shouldn't be a distinction between what you're doing as long as you're moving the company forward, right? So, well, what problems do you have in your life? Paying bills, credit card debt, student loan debt is insane. All that is generating money for other people. You look at, these big companies that are fighting increasing wages at all, and they're like, well, McDonald's says, well, we can't keep opening stores if we have to pay this much money. But all the people making the money at McDonald's aren't the workers. They're not getting money. It's their investors, right? It's people who put in money and they get money and money and money without doing anything. We really think that the money should really be going down to the people that are doing the work. And once you can kind of get people and you can talk to them, people start understanding oh, that's what you mean by this. And I think there's a really weird thing about class consciousness. People don't realize that we're all workers. And I think that's one of the big issues, and one of the big things that we've been fighting for a long time is to get people class conscious, because people look down on fast food workers. And there's a lot of talk I see a lot of the times when people are, they're like, well, why would someone flipping burgers deserve that much money? I don't make that much money. Well, you deserve more money too. It's not just one section, but this is the section that's being organized around this. It says in our preamble, we want to scribe on our banner, abolition of the wage system. And people are just like, what does that even mean? What it means is you should be getting more for your work. You should be compensated for what you're making,